Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 7. The members are me, Unzil Maughfiroh Firdausi, and Muntabihun, and we are going to explain about techniques for writing proposal and research report, and we made specific with thesis explanation. Okay, the first is about research proposal. A research proposal is a written plan for a project that will be submitted to others for evaluation. And writing the research proposal can be the most crucial and existing step in the research process. At this stage, the whole project crystallizes into concrete form. The researcher's inspirations and insights are translated into step-by-step plans for discovering new knowledge. In a well-organized and well-written proposal, researchers demonstrate that they know that what they are seeking and that they will know how to successfully complete the planned project. The readers will evaluate the work of the proposed study and may make suggestions for improving it. The next is format of thesis proposal. The following format outlines the thesis proposal as follows: cover page, a profile page, table of contents, chapter 1 about introduction, chapter 2 about literature review, chapter 3 about research methods, and the last is about references list and appendices. Some parts of this format we have learned in previous explanation or previous presentation. And now, some parts of this format we are going to learn in the next explanation. Okay, the second is about research report. The research report will tell what you did, what you found, and how your study is related to the body of knowledge in your area. The research report will tell you about what you found, and then in the format of the research report or in here about thesis report, we follow the explanation in the Panduan Penulisan Karya Ilmiah Kurikulum MBKM FMIPA UNES 2021. And the first part of the thesis report is preliminary page. The preliminary consists of the title, blank page, statement of authenticity of writing, approval, dedication, motto, preface, abstract, table of contents, list of tables, list of figures, and a list of appendices. The first is about title page, or we know as cover page. The first is logo. The logo installed on the title page should be the institution logo, which is usually installed on the letterhead. The size of the logo is adjusted to the width of the title page. Logo can be black and white or in color, as in the following example. The next is about thesis title. The title, consisting of a maximum of 20 words, is written in Times New Roman capital letters, whose size is adjusted to the length of the title. Use a bold, single-space 14 font. For example, you can look at in the below. The next is about purpose. The purpose of writing a thesis is in the form of a statement written in lowercase, except for the name of the degree and the name of the study program, which are written in a word capitalization. An example of such a statement is as follows. We can look at in here. And then the writing of this phrase needs to pay attention to the following things. The first, this phrase is written in Times New Roman font, size 12, and then bachelor degrees and study programs are written with a capital letter prefix. You can look at in here. This is the wrong statement. This is the right statement. For the next is about name and identification number. The student's name and identification number are written in 2 lines in the middle of the title page, which is preceded by the preposition by above it. You can look at the example in here. If you use the Indonesian language, you can give oleh in here with uppercase in the initial word. Next is name of institution and year of writing. The name of the institution and the year of writing are written in Times New Roman font in bold size 14. The year the thesis is written is the year the student is declared graduated. You can look at the example in here from your department, faculty, university, and the next part is blank page. The blank page is intended as a layer so the text on the next page is not see-through and visible from the title page. In copyright books, this page contains copyright notes that include the year of writing, author's name, and warnings for book users. This is the example. In student thesis, such writing is not displayed, so this page becomes a blank page. Next part is about statement. Peraturan Menteri Pendidikan Nasional Republik Indonesia Nomor 17 Tahun 2010 concerning prevention and overcoming of plagiarism in higher education, Chapter 7, Part 1, states that every scientific work produced in a university environment must be attached with a statement signed by the author that the scientific work is free of plagiarism, and if in the future it is proven that there is a plagiarism in the scientific work, then the authors are willing to accept sanctions in accordance with the provisions of the legislation. An example of statement of authenticity of writing in accordance with this regulation is as follows. You can look at me here. The next part is about approval. The approval page is the page where the examiners, supervisors, and thesis examination committees, as well as officials who are authorized to put their signatures as a sign that the validity of the thesis is recognized. This page consists of the following items. The first, at the top of the page can be written the words approval, or if you use Indonesia, you can write pengesahan. The next, a statement containing the title, name, and name of the author, as well as the date of the thesis examination. The last, names of examiners, supervisors, and authorized officials, namely the head of the department and the dean of the faculty. And the example you can look at in here. The next part is about motto and dedication. Motto is usually a short phrase or sentence that is used as a slogan, guideline, or principle that describes motivation. Motto is usually quoted from a source. The motto is written concisely with the same typeface as the type used in the thesis. Usually use Times New Roman font 12, without italics, bold print, underline, and or quotation marks. If the motto is a quote from a significant source, the name and source of the quote can be included in the text. Placement of the motto is at the top left aligned. You can look at it here as an example. The next is the dedication. The dedication is written briefly and only mention the names or important institutions preceded by the word to. The text is written at the bottom right without any punctuation. For example, you can look at it here. The next part is about preface. The preface contains a brief explanation by the author regarding the background of writing the thesis, the scope of the research, the purpose of the research, and the parties who play a role in motivating the author so that the thesis can be realized. The preface can also include mentioning names that are either directly or indirectly involved in the writing. The next part is abstract. Abstract usually contain the essence of research reports consisting of the background, problems and or research objectives, methods that used in the research, most important research results, and the last is conclusions. This entire section is not more than 400 words written in 3 to 5 paragraphs with single spacing for font size level. For the example, you can look at it here. The last of my explanation is about table contents. The table of contents lists all sections of the thesis from the title page to the appendices. For the example, you can look at it here. If you use the Indonesia language, you can write a daftar isi. For the next explanation will be explained by Bihun. For Bihun, time is yours.
Thank you, Unzil. The next part of thesis is list of tables, list of figures, and list of appendices. In the list of tables, it is in the form of a list containing the tables contained in the thesis text. The entries in this list are sorted by numbering and the title of the table that corresponds to the number and title written in the petty space when. You can see the example in the figure below. Keep in mind that in the body of the thesis, the number and title of the table are written above the reference table. Then in the list of figures, it is written with numbering and titles like writing a list of tables. In the body of thesis, the number and title of the chart, picture, or diagram are written below the reference chart, picture, or diagram. Images are made in black and white. It is recommended not to include color image. The example you can see in the figure above here. And the next is the list of appendices. The list of appendices is written by numbering and heading. Note that each appendix item is numbered, titled, and page number. Next is contents. In the contents part, the content of research report consists of title of the chapter and its parts. The content of the thesis consists of 5 chapters, namely introduction, literature review, research methods, results and discussion, and closing. In general, the contents consisting of 5 chapters are written with the following provisions. The first is chapter title. Chapter title are written in capital letters, 14 in bold. Chapter titles are written on new page. The example is in the picture here. And next is the section titles. Section titles are written in lowercase. The section is preceded by a capital letter, and each word class, noun, verb, adjective, and adverb is preceded by a capital letter with font size 12 and bold. The example is like this. And the next is subsection titles. Subsection titles are written like section titles that in italics, like in the following picture. And next is subsection titles. The subsection titles are written in 12 size font and in thin print, like the following figure. And the last, if the subsection title, if there is still one, is written as a subsection but in italics with a thin line, like the following figure. The titles of chapters and sections and their subsections can be summarized as follows, as in the following picture. The writing of chapter and section titles and their subsections need to pay attention to the following matters. First, each section along with fractions is written starting with the end of the left margin. Subsections, for example, need not be intended to the right. Need not be indented to the right. Next, each part must be a phrase written without ending with a period. The third, the text that follows each section and its fractions must be paragraphs. Each paragraph consists of a list of at least 2 sentences. Last, the text in the form of statement items is written with the following conditions. If the statement is inserted into a paragraph, the statement is numbered in parentheses. For example, when with the parentheses like this, and its statement is marked with a comma or a semicolon, depending on the length of the statement. This is the examples in paragraph. And if the statement is in paragraph format, the statement is written sequentially with bracketed numbers. Each statement item ends with a period for sentences, semicolon for phrases, or commas for phrases. Like here, like this. And the next part is the supplementary pages. The final part of thesis consists of at least a list of references and appendices. The final part of thesis is related to the content. Therefore, every references and appendices written at the end must be referenced in the content. In the references, there are two main parts. The first is references. The references list contains all the library materials used as direct references in writing the thesis. In the appendices, appendices is an internal part of the content, but it is separated from the content because it is considered too long so that it can interfere with the appearance of the content. The section is displayed in the form of an attachment. Each of these types of attachments must be referred to in the content section, like the following example. The appendices are presented in the following manner. First, if there is more than one appendix, each is numbered sequentially. Second, each attachment is given a title according to its content. Next, each appendix page is assigned a page number in the order of forwarding the text page number. And the last, if the research uses a large number of written data sources, the appendix only provides examples of data that are proportional to the content. Research implementation usually requires administrative completeness in the form of letter. Administrative completeness like this is not part of the content. Therefore, it does not have to be included in the thesis. Even if must be displayed, this section can be placed separately at the end after the end of the thesis. Next is format of scientific article. The scientific article in here are the articles that are part of a thesis or final project. Scientific articles are one of the requirements so that students can register for thesis exams for undergraduate students. In general, students are required to submit scientific articles to journals and attach proof of submission as a condition for submitting a thesis exam. Scientific articles that are used as requirements for the thesis examination must be part of the thesis but do not have to contain all the results of the thesis. In general, there are several rules in writing the article, including the title of the article does not have to be the same as the title of the thesis, but illustrates that the article is part of the written thesis. Next, the first author is student concerned. The second author is the supervisor. Next, agencies are study programs, departments, faculty, and institution. Here, FMIPA and UNES. Next, scientific articles should at least include the objectives, methods, results, discussions, and conclusions. And the last, writing in detail following the style of intended journal environment. The next is about citation and references list. Citation is a way to show that an opinion or data that we take as a reference comes from a certain scientific source. Citation is one of the scientific codes of ethics to avoid plagiarism and strengthen the scientific element in an article. Reference list is a list of all scientific sources referenced in thesis or final project. Citation and reference lists are interrelated. All scientific sources cited must be included in the reference list, and all those listed in the reference list must be cited in the thesis or final project. To facilitate the linkage between citations to the reference list, students are advised to use the Mendeley Reference Manager by referring to the guidelines at www.mendeley.com. In general, there are several signs that need to be adhered to in the citation and list of references as follows. First, avoid direct quotations to avoid a high percentage of similarity. Paraphrase in doing citations. Next, it is not recommended to do secondary citations, namely according to someone in someone. Next, do not take citations from thesis, undergraduate thesis, dissertations. Citation can be taken from articles which are the result of these theses and dissertations. Next, the reference list consists of at least 30 sources with 80% of which are nationally accredited and internationally reputable scientific articles that are relevant and up-to-date. According to UNES academic guidelines, citation of at least 5 reputable international journals or proceedings that are relevant and well-known in their respective fields. Last, journal articles are recommended to be published in the last 10 years. However, it is possible to take references that have a long publication age, as long as they are still relevant and newer similar publications are not found. There are many styles of writing references, including European style, Harvard style, Vancouver style, American Psychological Association or APA style, and Chicago Manual style or CMS. The last need in our presentation is about characteristics of an effective research report. An effective research report has at least the following 4 characteristics. First is focus. An effective report emphasizes the important information. The second is accurate. An effective report does not mislead the reader. Next is clarity, which means an effective report does not confuse the reader. And the last is conciseness, which means an effective report does not waste the reader's time. Okay, that's all from our presentation. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, you can ask us in discussion forum in Elena or by contact us in person. Thank you for your attention. Sorry if we have some mistakes. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.